Finley the flying fish glided above the coral reef, his goggles gleaming in the sun. Ollie Octopus waved from below, his red striped scarf trailing through the water. Coral the clownfish and Spike the pufferfish cheered loudly as the waves sparkled around them in bright patterns. A sudden gust tossed Finley sideways, making him twist in the air. His goggles slipped from his face and tumbled downward. They struck a jagged rock and cracked, the lenses spiderwebbed. "Oh no!" Finley said, his heart pounding hard inside his chest as fear began to rise. Spike the pufferfish paddled closer, his brown hat tilting in the spray. "Can you still fly?" he asked, voice tight with worry. Finley shook his head slowly, staring at the broken goggles in his claws. The sight made his stomach churn with disappointment and dread. Coral the clownfish swam near, her own goggles flashing brightly in the sunlight. "We can fix them," she said hopefully. But the crack was too deep and wide. The reef seemed quieter now, as if it felt Finley's sadness, drifting through the gentle currents around them. Ollie Octopus floated up from the shadows, his tentacles curling in a gentle dance. "Maybe you don't need goggles to fly," he said with a calm smile. Finley frowned, unsure if that could ever be true without his trusted pair to guide his flights safely. A green turtle wearing a brown hat surfed past on a curling wave. He called encouragement as he sped along, his voice carrying over the water. The sight made Finley smile for a moment, but doubt clung to him like heavy seaweed he could not shake. Ollie Octopus twirled his red-striped scarf in the clear water. "If you trust me, this scarf can help," he said firmly. Coral and Spike exchanged curious glances, wondering how such a simple thing could replace the goggles Finley had always relied on for his flights. Finley asked, "How can a scarf help me fly?" Ollie floated closer and wrapped it gently over Finley's eyes. "Sometimes you see more when you can't see," Ollie said. His voice was warm, and the scarf felt soft against Finley's scales, shielding him from doubt. With the scarf snug, Finley felt the warmth of his friends nearby. Coral's voice called clear directions through the water, guiding him carefully. Spike's laughter bubbled around them, light and cheerful. The ocean seemed alive with possibility, its currents carrying Finley towards something he hadn't imagined yet. It guided Finley to the open water beyond the reef, where space stretched wide. The current was strong, pushing against his fins as excitement stirred. His fins trembled with anticipation, ready to leap. "Ready?" Ollie asked from below, his voice steady like the rhythm of the tide. Finley spread his fins wide and leaped into the air above the waves. The wind brushed his scales warmly, tilting him toward the sun. He felt the rush of speed. Coral clapped her fins below, shouting encouragement that filled him with courage and a daring spark. Spike surfed alongside, keeping perfect pace with Finley's soaring arcs. "You're flying," he said, eyes bright with joy. Finley grinned wide, even though he couldn't see through the scarf. The thrill of flight surged through him, stronger than he had ever felt with his goggles before. The ocean stretched endless below, waves rising and falling like gentle hills. Ollie's calm voice guided each turn, helping Finley keep his balance. Finley's trust in his friends grew with every leap. The scarf no longer felt strange. It was part of his new way of flying. A sudden wave roared up, taller than the rest. Coral shouted, "Left!" just in time. Finley veered sharply, slicing the air above the crest. His fins caught the wind, and the scarf fluttered as he passed safely. Laughter bubbled from him, light as sea foam. He laughed freely, the sound echoing across the wide water. The scarf brushed gently against his face, smelling faintly of salt and adventure. Ollie cheered from below, his tentacles swirling in celebration. Together, they shared the joy of the moment, knowing Finley's courage was growing stronger. The friends decided to try a longer flight for fun. Spike suggested racing the wind toward the distant kelp forest beyond the reef. Finley agreed eagerly, excitement buzzing inside him. The idea of pushing himself further filled him with a spark he couldn't ignore now. They launched together, fins cutting cleanly through the spray of the waves. Coral kept calling out landmarks, her voice bright and steady. Ollie matched the rhythm of the swells, guiding Finley's timing. The speed was exhilarating, and Finley felt the ocean's power carrying him forward swiftly. A flock of seabirds swooped overhead, their cries mixing with the roar of the ocean. Finley imagined himself among them, soaring free in the sky. His fear faded further, replaced by the thrill of flight. The scarf felt like a wing itself, lifting him higher. The kelp forest rose ahead, green ribbons waving gently in the current. Spike shouted, "Almost there," from his board. Finley angled his fins carefully, following Ollie's steady directions. The sight of their goal made his heart race with determination to reach it without slowing down. A tight gap between the kelp stalks appeared suddenly. Coral urged him to dive low, her voice sharp with focus. Finley followed smoothly, slipping between the swaying green ribbons. Water sparkled in his wake as he cleared the gap, feeling a rush of triumphant energy. Beyond the kelp, the sea opened wide again into calm waters. The friends paused together, bobbing gently on the surface. "You're amazing," Coral said warmly, her voice full of pride. Finley felt her words sink into him like sunlight warming the deep ocean floor. Finley smiled beneath the blindfold, turning toward his friends. "I guess goggles aren't the only way to fly," he said. Ollie's scarf felt snug and safe against his face. It was more than cloth now. It was a badge of courage he had truly earned. They decided to return to the reef, flying together in tight formation. Spike led the way, surfing the swells with skill. Coral followed closely, her purple scales shining against the fading light. Finley kept pace easily, feeling the steady rhythm of their movement carry them home. Ollie stayed close to Finley, offering gentle guidance through each wave. The rhythm of their teamwork kept them steady as they traveled. The sun dipped lower toward the horizon, casting golden light across the ocean. Every leap felt smoother than the last, built on trust. A playful dolphin joined their journey, leaping alongside with joyful splashes. Its quick movements made everyone laugh aloud. The scarf fluttered in the breeze created by their speed. Finley felt part of something magical, surrounded by friends and creatures who shared the joy of movement. Finley tried a daring loop in the air, twisting above the waves. Ollie counted him through each turn with calm precision. He landed smoothly back in the water. "That was heroic," Spike said, grinning wide. Finley's chest swelled with pride at the adventurous success. Coral challenged them to a final sprint back to the reef. They surged forward together, cutting through the rolling waves with powerful strokes. The reef's colors glimmered ahead, bright and welcoming. The water rushed past their fins as they pushed themselves to reach it first. The green turtle in the brown hat watched them approach from his surfboard. "Nice flying, Finley," he called with a wave. Finley lifted a fin in thanks, his smile stretching wide. The praise felt good, adding to the pride already building inside his heart. They reached the reef and floated together, breathing hard but happy from the long journey. The water shimmered in gold light around them. Coral beamed at Finley, her eyes sparkling. The day's adventure felt like a victory they had all shared equally and joyfully. Finley removed the scarf slowly and looked around. The reef seemed brighter than before, colors dancing in the fading sunlight. Ollie smiled at him, eyes twinkling with pride. Finley felt a warm glow inside, knowing this flight had changed him in unexpected and lasting ways. "Your courage was the real magic," Ollie said sincerely. Spike nodded in agreement, adjusting his brown hat against the breeze. Coral touched her goggles thoughtfully, as if remembering the moment they had first met. Their friendship felt stronger now, shaped by trust and daring adventure. They talked excitedly about future flights, planning new routes and challenges beyond the reef. Finley's heart raced with anticipation at each idea. The ocean felt full of adventures waiting to be explored. Together, they knew there were no limits to what they could try next. The sun touched the horizon, painting the waves orange and pink. The friends floated quietly, enjoying the view without rushing. Warmth spread through Finley, settling deep into his chest. The day's triumph felt even sweeter in the calm light of the approaching evening. Ollie folded his scarf carefully, ready for the next journey ahead. "We'll always fly together," he said with certainty. Coral and Spike agreed, their voices firm and cheerful. The promise hung in the air, as steady as the tide's pull on the open sea. Finley knew now that kindness could lift him higher than goggles ever could. Surrounded by friends, he felt ready for any adventure the ocean offered. The waves whispered promises of tomorrow, carrying the sound of courage and friendship across the wide, shimmering sea.